Apparently, the Anime Man is getting canceled. So we're gonna look at this. This is a video by Hero. Hey, Joey, the Anime Man just got canceled. So we'll see who canceled him and how they could even cancel him. Anyway, thank you for watching. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. And yeah, we're going in. Every little bit of support matters. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's see.
A lot of people have been talking about this clip right here. As you can see, 2.4 million views on twitter.com, captioned, well, actually the caption is a quote of what this woman in the video says, but we'll take a look at the caption / quote, which reads, quote, "We need more animes with female protagonists," unquote. And the caption to that is now, "Woman who has watched 5 anime series in her life, aka a tourist causing problems. Hey, this..."
There's so many wonderful female protagonists in anime. You just have to look at the right genre. The thing is that the mainstream anime don't have like a lot of female protagonists, and the reason is because they're shonen. They're targeted at young men. So usually you'd expect a male protagonist. That's just the truth, right? That's just the truth. Like, right, the big how do you say this? The big shows, usually male protagonist because shonen. It's hard remembering something that in recent years that wasn't shonen, right? I mean, the big 3 are all shonen. The grandpapa of anime here in the West, Dragon Ball, and you can say what you want, but it is probably most likely Dragon Ball. Male. Like more recently, when it comes to female protags, Frieren, yeah. Back then, Sailor Moon, right? Makes sense, right? That was a really big one. But usually, from what I can tell, from what I see, most of the mainstream big anime usually have male protagonists because they're shonen.
This is my fandom now. You gotta change for me. Yeah, no. Jokes aside, though, it's not even just about, like, you have to change for me, which we've seen from anime tourists before. No, this one is also the fact that she's also just...
You want to change things? Watch shows that actually have what you want. Watch those shows, hype them up, make them big, and then you have something for yourself. But until then, right? Until then, it's really that simple. It's like the same thing with representation, right? When they are like, oh, but there's why is there never like big Yuri anime or big yaoi anime? And I'm like, well, that's because you are not consuming those. If you were, then things would look different. So they have to rely the ones, the quote unquote, the weirdos, the one who quote unquote fetishize it, because you're not spending money on it, right? It's the weebs doing it. Simply put. Right? I'm not a big anime watcher, right? I've gotten recently back into it, right? Very recently. But I can tell when something's off. And I can tell when people try to... It's also like, hot take, when it comes to this, it brings along a certain type of fandom. And from what I can tell, a lot of mangakas, a lot of creators do not want those audiences because they're toxic, obnoxious. Look at Gacha Kuda. That's the first one. Look at Madoka, right?
Wrong in pretending, or I shouldn't say pretending, wrong in acting in her own ignorance. Like, there's not a lot of anime that have female protagonists. There, in fact, actually is a lot of anime and a lot of manga with female protagonists, and of course, some of those characters are some of the most beloved characters in the medium. But that's exactly how these anime tourists are time and time again. They clearly don't really like anime, but they LARP as if they do. Then they go around virtue signaling, being performative as heck, calling everything problematic and offensive. You know, the same sort of slop that we've heard from people like this over and over and over again. They really need to get some new material Or better yet, just like stop LARPing and move on with
I mean, they don't. They don't. I mean, right? They still use the same talking points they used in like 2014. They're still using the same ones. They haven't changed anything.
your life. But, you know, apparently that's a big ask for these people to stop being fake. That's something they just can't do. Speaking of which, that takes us back to this lady, and things get really crazy because she actually, after she makes her horrible points, she gets called out by Joey the anime man. I know, kind of surprising, right? But hey, let's play the clip. It's about 1 minute long.
My anime hot take
The rare case of the homie showing a backbone.
is that we need more female protagonists.
Enough said.
Sailor Moon, Madoka Magica, those are the obvious ones. Serial Experiments Lane, Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Kill la Kill, Kanan, Ogre Proxy, Claymore, Yojo Senki, Ghost in the Shell, Violet Evergarden, Azumanga Daioh, Maiden Abyss, Nana, Shoujo Kakume Utena, Yona of the Dawn, Ascendance of a Bookworm, Psycho Pass, Black Lagoon, Certain Scientific Railgun, Haibana Denmechi, Hayafuru, My Neighbor Totoro, Little Witch Academia, Hibiki Euphonium, Ancient Magus Bride, Nichijou, Blood Plus, Blood Sea, Kata no Kyokai, Kiki's Delivery Service, House Moving Castle, Nausicaa, Spirited Away, Suzumiya Haruhi no Yutsu, Soul Song of Freeran, Lovely Complex, Fruits Basket, Princess Tutu, Perfect Blue, Oran High School Host Club, Carol and Tuesday, Apothecary Diaries, Bocce the Rock, Keep Your Hands Off Ezoken, Dead Dead Demons, Destruct.
Apothecary Diaries is very popular. In fact, so popular it's selling major anime. I don't know how you want more.
Go Sick, Wolf Children, Jojo Part 6, Moribito, Shirobako, Bloom Into You, Kino no Tabi, Humanity Has Declined, Slayers, Uma Musume. Damn. I guess we do need more female anime protagonists, huh?
Bro even pulled like a reverse Aizen at the end there, starting without the glasses, but then adding the glasses at the end. And some people were like trying to defend her, being like, that's not even that many. And it's like, dude, he's not going to literally list all of them. That would take forever. It seems like he was really just going off memory or something.
Oh, you think there is enough female anime protagonists? Name them all. Every single one of them. Name them. All of them. Right? Cue I don't know, something. You get the idea. Cue some music, whatever.
But the anime tourists, they are very offended at Joey's take. So they, believe it or not, this is crazy, they went to Twitter to complain and be offended even more, like they always do. I know, shocking, right?
Black, checks out, moving on.
Right? Great lives. This person says, she said more, idiot. Do you know what more means? That tweet got 1.1 million views on Twitter and hundreds of responses calling the OP out. For example, we've got Lady Lark writing, we have had many female protagonists already. People in the anime community who have eyes have been knowing and seeing this for years. And this post that reads, I want more of this thing. Hey, you already have a lot and you're not underrepresented in the anime space at all. We'll ask for more and more. What don't understand? And another saying, this is very clearly a list that he made off the top of his head, but if you actually looked at the currently airing shows, there's at least like 20 shows airing right now that do have female protagonists. We have a new season of Magi Lumeri about grown women as magical girl OLs with no fan service at all the things Twitter complainers claim to be clamoring for, but I barely ever see anyone talk about it because the people that complain the most about female representation in anime
aren't watching anime. That is very correct. It's the same with video games, right? The people that complain about there not being enough women in video games do not play them. Same with movies. Same with fucking music. There's not enough female musicians. I'm like, yeah, but you're not listening to them. You're not listening to them. It's that you're not watching this. You're not listening to it. You're not doing any of the... See, remember when, it's somewhat related, but not really. Remember when that one Star Wars show was around, The Acolyte, right? And more people signed the petition that actually watched the show. You know how crazy that is? There were more people signing a petition for keeping it live than watching the show. Well, if you would have watched the show, then it would have never shut down, but shut down, whatever, closed, canceled, whatever. But it still happened because these people do not consume the media that they claim to like.
don't actually watch anime. But the offended people were not done. I like this comment. Joey's now a chud, apparently. Says, I'm crying, this chud loser, in reference to Joey, who wasn't even relevant 10 years ago, pronounced it Madoka Magica. That's just too funny. Let me guess what's next. They're going to call him a Nazi? Is that it? Hey, he was harassing this innocent girl who did nothing wrong, and he's literally a Nazi. Here's another tweet that's upset with Joey. This one has 8,900 likes. Says, just because you can name 20 doesn't mean there shouldn't be more, lol. You would die of old age if you named all the male protag anime. They got a response from Kukurio that says, you would also die of old age if you named all the female ones. The point is precisely that you claim there aren't any because you lack any anime knowledge, so you don't know there are as many female characters as male ones. Then we have this tweet with 7,400 likes, also upset at Joey, saying, the anime man is such a jerk. In the full video, she specifically talks about Sailor Moon, and at least one of the other anime he brings up as a counterpoint, and admits there are many. Bro, that just makes her...
Alright, so, mangaka, right? Because most anime are based on manga, right? Survey from 2021, okay? So, this is what Google gives me, but I cannot confirm, right? Of 723 manga authors showed that 77% reported being female, 18% being male, and 5% did not state. It's also genre specific. If a certain genre isn't that popular, which, right, 78 to 81% list creators are women when it comes to Yuri, right? And there's probably a lot of other stuff, right? Then, you know, those genres aren't popular enough to be mainstream. That's just a truth, right? That's just a harsh truth. There aren't enough people who are interested in that. There's also something that is very important. A lot of these big mangaka are written by women, which means that women chose to not use female protagonists. That means you are not respecting the choice of women, which is very interesting. Just saying it. Just saying it. I'm just saying it. Right?
Sound even worse. What do you mean? She brings up that there's two examples. She says that there are many, and she can only think of two. And
I was the fetishist. Moving on.
One of them is like the most obvious example, Sailor Moon. I mean, come on. Come on. There's probably people that don't even like anime that can name more than she did. How is this supposed to help her argument? Like I said, this makes her sound like even more of a tourist. And the response ends with this person saying, she just likes them and wants more. Stop farming straw men for content. Look, if that's really all it was, that she likes them and wants more, that would be fine. But she was clearly trying to come at this from an angle of like, this is problematic and something needs to be done about it. And it's coming from someone who, again, has no idea what she's even talking about, which became even more clear in that post that was trying to defend her, but only ended up making her sound even worse. Let's check out some of the top comments here. Let's see what people are saying about this one. When you say, quote, we need more on quote of something, it insists that there isn't a lot of it, which is not true about female-led anime. This is another example of people complaining just to complain when it genuinely isn't anything to complain about. And this one that says, my thing is, whenever women say this sort of thing, they often ignore the previous female characters who crawled so modern day female characters could walk. I know so many women who claim to want more female characters, but they've never watched the animes he mentioned. I might have actually just found one of the craziest comments defending the woman in the clip. Check this out. Yeah, this woman didn't say, quote, there are no freaking anime ever to exist with a woman protagonist on, quote. And as someone who is more than a casual interest in the genre, I probably watch 50 to 100 anime. I've never even heard of the stuff Joey mentions outside of Sailor Moon.
That's the literal point. That's the literal point. The reason you don't know him is because you don't watch him. That's the literal point. That's the literal point. That is the point.
I want to think this is bait. Like, there's no way, right? How have you never heard of any of the anime that Joey mentioned in that clip except Sailor Moon, and you're saying that you have more than a casual interest in the genre? And that you've allegedly watched 50 to...
The fact that he has never watched, like, Howl's Moving Castle is very popular. Same with Spirited Away. My Neighbor Totoro is also very popular. There's plenty of other Studio Ghibli movies that have female protagonists. Frieren, the fact that you don't know Frieren is also very interesting. There is a lot of romance anime that were very popular that have a female lead. The fact that you don't know these either, right? It is it is incredibly interesting. Yeah, I'm a casual. I'm very much a casual, right? But even I know more with female leads than this person does, right? But let's see. I've watched that quite a while ago. I don't remember much anymore. I just remember that some weird things came somewhere and started eating people. Maybe I should rewatch that though. I don't know if that was good or not. Maybe I don't know. Right? But like, come on.
To 100 anime, but you've never heard, like, it doesn't make sense. There were so many very
Apothecary Diaries, right? I'm probably still saying it wrong because I can't say the word. Regardless, English not very good. Super popular. So popular, in fact, movies are coming, right? How the fuck do you not know what that is? Pack it up. Put the fries in the bag. I'm just saying it, right? Witchblade is also another one that I remember. But I think that's based actually on a comic and then was turned into an anime. Regardless, right? How? How do you not know any of these?
popular, very well-known anime that he named in that clip. I don't even, am I falling for bait right now? Like, it's not a blue checkmark account. If there was a blue checkmark there, I would think it was probably bait. But since there's not, I don't know. Maybe bait for the love of the game? Or maybe this person's serious?
Mental retardation.
I don't know. But if you made it this far, we'll end the video with a little trivia, a little game, if you will. And the game is Guess the Anime. So it's an old anime, older anime. It's one I saw a long time ago, and I liked it back then, but it wasn't one of my favorites. And my favorite character in that anime back then was actually a side character, and he got a really bad ending. So I was kind of just disappointed and upset about that when I finished it back then. But I've recently been doing a rewatch of this anime, and now the actual main character is by far my favorite character. I don't really care about that side character anymore. I've moved on. But this main character and the anime itself have both become, like I said, one of my favorite characters, and now also one of my favorite anime. On top of it just aging really well, certain life experiences I've had since then, dealing with death and things like that. We're not going to get into all that stuff, but my point is, it's given me a new perspective on this anime and a brand new appreciation for it that I didn't have the first time I watched the show. And so the reason I'm bringing it up is because it could maybe go on the list. It wasn't on the list, and it really would not go on the list, but by the very end of the anime, through sheer technicality, you might be able to argue that maybe it could go on the list. But yeah, it's a little bit complicated without spoiling anything. So that's all the hints, or rather, those are all the hints I'm going to give. If anyone can guess the anime in the comments, hopefully I see your comment.
I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. There's a few anime that I can think that have bad endings for side characters. Anyway.
And I will give you a heart if you guess right. But as for the video, that's it. That's the latest. Let me know what you think about the situation. Have a...
Yeah, this is silly. This is silly. There's people out there telling stuff about anime, right? Again, I'm not the most knowledgeable one, right? I don't know that much, right? But I'm not trying to change the fandom. I'm not saying things that aren't true. And I am honestly, I'm just surprised. My theory is, okay, so this is crazy, right? But my theory is a lot of these people that say this, by the way, were the same people that bullied you if you were watching anime as a kid. That are now the bullies that the people that bullied you because you were actually watching anime are now watching mainstream anime, is what I'm trying to say. And honestly, a lot of these people are just in that category. A lot of these people just are. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.